Good afternoon on what has turned out to be a bright sunny day. It is Friday, September the 17th, one day before Albert Wizard Starfield Convention here in the Midlands, and I'm back in the Reading Nook with some parcels, a nice hot cup of tea, and so let's get to it. Let's get on with this unboxing, and we're going to tackle this large unruly parcel first. So let's have a look. Knife into the wrapping, because it's clear that the sender had out, but trying not to cut myself there. Has essentially sort of assembled this box more than sort of like, you know, put it into the closer. He is at last. Okay, almost there. Okay. And then pull that out. Yeah, it's done quite a construction job on this. So pull that away while I amass an awful lot of cardboard, and then so there's some bit of padding at the bottom. And shrink wrap. Okay, so finally, what we've got is that Descent Journeys into the Dark. And this is the second edition. You can tell by the size of the box. This is the smallest box that the core game has come in, because essentially originally the first edition would have been sort of like this box and then again. I've got a copy of that somewhere and I'll dig that out. So let's just see whether I can. Okay. So here we go. Descent Journeys into the Dark. Embark on an epic quest against an ancient evil. In the darkest depths of Terrinoth, a rising evil gathers its minions to lay siege on the world above. Only a small band of heroes gifted with courage and power will be able to save the land from the cold grip of domination. Now's the time to venture into the dark and unravel the plots of the wicked before it's too late. Packed with valiant heroes, dangerous monsters, magical relics, and exciting quests, Descent Journeys into the Dark 2nd Edition delivers heroic adventure in a world of high fantasy. Essentially offering something for a variety of types of players, Descent Journeys into the Dark 2nd Edition is an epic dungeon-crawling narrative adventure experience utilising a campaign system and accessible rules for dynamic tactical combat. Included in this box are 2 different ways to play Descent Journeys into the Dark 2nd Edition, both offering unique and exciting experiences. So we have competitive play, 2 to 5 players, story basically, and then and essentially series engaging story-driven adventures. Wonderful hero players compete against a single overlord player to control the forces of the darkness. Cooperative play, wonderful players. Okay, pairing the physical components with a free Road to Legend app. Players work together to overcome the challenges presented with them by the app. Okay, so you've got 39 plastic figures, over 200 cards, nearly 50 map tiles, and much more. And this is it. There we go. So you can see the background, basically on the back. It's a little bit dinged in the corners there, but I'm not going to complain. So, and inside, first off, we find, here we go, I don't want anything to fall out, because, you know, that always happens when so we've got the rule book there. So, So that's the Heirs of Blood quest guide, and that's essentially the world guide. You've got quite an extensive piece of in-game fiction to begin with there, before we get anywhere near the Heirs of Blood campaign. So there's the setup for the first part, all done in nice colour. There are the pieces you put together to make the map, and you've got multiple different quests, so different encounters all the way through. Again, lay the maps out, put the pieces together, and add the figures, and away you go. And these get increasingly complex. Now, an interesting thing essentially is this is the second iteration of the game, and its earliest iteration is actually the first version of the Doom board game. Which is really kind of simple. A couple of 2-3 Marines against the referee. Very straightforward layouts, and you had sort of like different monsters, plastic figures for the different monsters you might encounter. So things like skitters, which would sort of like scoot out of ventilation shafts, attack and then run away. Much to my partner's consternation, because she could never quite shoot them. So we have all the way up to essentially the final kind of part of the campaign, and lastly we've got descriptions of the heroes. Okay, that's something that used to be done, and then campaign log, essentially charting the player's progress through the campaign. And then Act 1 quests. There we go, a bit more basically coverage of what they are. So that's just in that book. Underneath we have, let's have a look. This is, I need a bit of a, there we go. So there's the rules of play. I remember this time when this came out, this was sort of like a premium game to buy. Basically got component guide, coverage of the apps. Be interested to find out whether the apps are still available. Probably not. And then sort of like how to set the game up. Always useful. Something to refer to when you're doing that. Preparing for play. Complete guide to the rules. And essentially, we've got a combat example there. And it's fairly straightforward stuff, because essentially it's a dungeon crash with a story. It's played out on maps. You've got the dice you're rolling, and the various symbols on the dice give you different results, which essentially you'll recognise if you've played any of these games. You'll recognise it from the Doom board games, from the versions of Descent, Journey into Darkness, and you'll also recognise it from a couple of role-playing games. The first one would have been Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 3rd Edition, which looked like a board game but really wasn't, but it used a lot of board game physical elements to really sort of like give a physical presence to your play. None of it, obviously to play the game it was necessary. Some people found it a bit over the top, a bit too much, but it was a lot of fun. Then we have Act 2 quest guides. So you've got 2 quest guides in there. So there's a lot of gaming material in there. And then we have the various bits of cardboard for the locations. So obviously these are double-sided, so on the one side you've got a corridor, there we go, and then on the other you've got a corridor with some stairs. So there's, basically making them double-sided means that they're basically doubly useful, and basically the little tags at the end being clipped together like that nicely enough. It's a bit tight, but that's solid, because that's holding in place. That's really nice. It's really well done. And then basically, because I've bought the second hand, the previous owner has put everything into these little tubs. Now I would have put these into because I know generally I would have put these into Ziploc bags because I've got a lot of them, but that's fine. And at the bottom, we have box with the dice. So let's take most of these out, because this is, in some ways, this is what you want to see. You've got various cards for the game. And there's the character sheets, character cards, more. But then we have the miniatures. Lots and lots of miniatures. So essentially what we've got there is it's a dragon, and that's a just show you that so we'll then get the kind of detail. That's done in soft plastic, but it's been glued together. That's really nice. And we've got an even more dangerous dragon. It's the same again, but in red. Let's just see if I can find them. Here we go. Quite nicely detailed there. Player characters. So, yeah, I mean, not fantastically detailed as such, but detailed enough to play, and they'd still stand out on the table. So, it's my hope, it'll be interesting to try and bring this to the table. I don't know whether I will, but it's certainly what I would like to do is really explore the Descent games, because they're all interesting, and they're all slightly different, and they present basically you can chart the evolution of the game from basically the box that is double the length to something smaller, something more self-contained, to the 1 foot cube for the 3rd edition, which you will have already seen I did an unboxing on. So let's just try and work my way putting all this back in here. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button. And of course, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So, basically, in the meantime, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do take the time to read those. I appreciate you taking the time to post them. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings on the Nook, where you will see me struggle with some packaging, and finally get through to a game or book inside it, and then watch me chat to the best of my knowledge for about 10 minutes or so, basically about my first exposure to this game, all accompanied, of course, by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll be back again with another unboxing in the Nook very soon. Bye for now.